This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 64 of Beers in the Lot. This episode, we started things off talking about our upcoming Johnstown trip, which is happening this week. We are so excited. Then the conversation turned to Ovechkin and his goal-scoring record chase. And then the crew expressed our mutual disgust at the recent send-down to the Laval Rocket of Cole Caufield. This one's a good one, so here we go. Let's crack beers.
I'm excited. Mine smells good.
I'm excited. Mine tastes good.
That's probably a prerequisite, right? I don't want that, right?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
What are you drinking there, Aaron?
I have a Cerveza Hermanos from the Brothers Craft Brewing. It's a Mexican-style lager. This is one of the ones that's out of Harrisonburg, right down the road. So
Very nice.
It's good. I like this.
Nice.
This is good. Some good bottle art too.
Yeah, the sugar skull.
Yeah, the skull. Yeah, it's cool. What you got, John? What water do you have tonight?
No water. It's November, sir.
Oh.
So I went back to I don't know, I guess Mother's Milk. Just Clyde May's straight bourbon whiskey, 92 proof. So
Back to bourbon in the lot.
yeah, dive right into the deep end. Why not?
Recondition the liver.
Yeah. Get it back up after.
Just give it a hearty punch.
Yeah. Just give it a nice chest punch. Daniel, what are you drinking tonight?
I love lamp. It's by Evil Genius Brewing Company, and they make one of my top beers that I like is #adulting. And I saw this. It's pineapple Hefeweizen.
Sounds delicious.
And
Not bad.
pretty good.
Nice.
I might love lamp as well.
What do you have tonight, Riggs?
I have Creeper West Coast. I think it's. Oh yeah, just a West Coast pale, not an IPA, just a pale from Old Mother Creeper.
Nice.
It's got like a little comic book monster thing going on the front here.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a metal sort of vibe to album cover. Vibe
Alright.
too,
I was
so,
thinking of
yeah.
Is that Zombie who does that? Meet the Creeper.
Yeah, that
Me
looks
too.
actually that's the same colors
It might
as on the
be.
front of a Rob
Yeah.
Zombie.
Yeah,
There we
it
go.
might be.
I think we uncovered something.
Well, I know, like, there's a dude, one of the dudes that works at Old Mother. He's in a local death metal band. So, yeah, maybe it's an homage to an adjacent genre.
Nice. It's on theme too. It's only a day after Halloween, so get some monsters and stuff.
Yeah, that's
It
not why.
fits.
That's not why I got it. Brando and I were doing like a little beer tasting thing on Friday night, and
Oh,
this
boy.
was one of the leftovers. So,
I'm sure you got in one there.
So
Wow.
a normal Friday night.
we went for margaritas and stuff before, and then got some beers and played cards and whatever. So,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Excellent.
So is there anything exciting happening this week? I can't think of anything.
I don't know.
Except that tournament we always talk about and have talked about for the last 53 weeks.
Yes.
We are going to Johnstown.
Yes.
Although we're kind of bent about the schedule, but I'm sure we'll still have fun.
It'll still be a good time. We'll still come back with stories. It'll be fine.
We'll just be drinking at a different time of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think all those times are basically the same, but yeah. We're also going to the Pittsburgh Penguins game on Thursday night. So that will
rivalry game. Pens Flyers, yeah.
That will be great. Hey?
Fierce rivalry between the Flyers and the Pens. It's also Hockey Fights Cancer Night. So it's always cool to see. You know, they always do some good tributes throughout the game and whatnot. It's nice to see. Pens have Sid back, thank God. And Carter.
And Letang is coming out of protocol, probably available Wednesday, I think I saw. So
perhaps.
I didn't realize it was a back-to-back and we were on the second game in a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So like Rigsby said, he won't have to grab a program. So actually know some players, right?
Well, right. There will actually be players that have recognizable names on the ice.
As Eric is complaining that he would have needed a program, I'm sitting there like, man, they should have called so-and-so up from Wilkes-Barre. This is so dumb. Why do we have this guy in there? He's like, you're a nerd.
You know what? That happened, had to have been 2 years ago now when we took my son to his first hockey game. Crosby and Malkin were both out of the lineup. And it was a 1-0 game in overtime.
Oh, no.
Luckily, the Pens won, and we got some excitement in, but definitely not a lot of scoring. Oh, my God.
Man. That's rough.
Of course, Rust had the game winner.
Yeah. He always seems to. Seems to. A little rusty.
He's still week to week, unfortunately, but meh. We're getting the bodies back. It'll be all right. It'll be fine. Not worried about it.
Yeah, you might make the argument that Sid is looking a little mortal in the last game or the last game he played. One of the big goals that I think that the go ahead goal in the last game for Jersey, it was off of Sid coughing.
Yeah, he shoved him down from behind. It was a penalty shot to Brad buried it.
Yeah. Well, there was another goal. Maybe it was the tying goal then, where Sid was trying to kick it back to the point to Letang, and he just whiffed his pass. And then
Letang wasn't in the lineup.
Not to Letang. Then whoever would do. I don't know. Somebody. He was trying to send it back to the point, and it just didn't get there. It was like a flipper, went end over end, and then scooped it up and took it in and ended up scoring.
And you know, because it's him, he's probably been sitting there stewing about that game too.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you could tell at the end too when they got the empty netter. He slammed the puck, shot the puck into the boards after he came out of the net. He's very frustrated.
Even Sid hates empty nets. Disgusts him. The whole idea. Doesn't matter who scores. It appalls him. Actually, I mentioned that about Ovechkin. Rigsby, congratulations. He moved further up the goal scoring chart, and he is now second all time in empty net goals behind the great one. That's big business.
I will accept your congratulations on behalf of Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't give a rat's ass.
Has he jumped Brett Hull yet? Or whoever was next? Is he's number 4? He was only like a couple goals away from somebody.
He passed Dion very early in the season. I think Brett Hull's next. I think he has one more.
Hull's next.
Yeah. And then Yager is 3, which conceivably, if he really goes off, he may catch Yager this season. And then the next one,
away. He's 2 away from Brett Hull.
So we'll beat that.
Yager. Yeah,
and then it's Yager. Yager has what? 766.
Yeah, at the rate he's going, he will pass Yager this season. He probably would even if he slows. So
and Hal's 801. So I mean, those are he gets to Yager. I think Hal's gonna fall, guaranteed.
Yeah,
Hal's gonna fall, but what's Gretzky 894?
894.
Is it 894 on the dot? Yeah, that's That's another almost 100 goals. We'll see.
Past
We'll see.
past Howe, yeah. I think he can do it.
I hope if Ovechkin does it, like he gets 900 on the dot. I think that'd be kind of like a good number. But also too, because Gretzky always like talks about that 92 goal season. He's like, I wish I got 100. It just would have looked so much better in the record books as 100 versus 92 because it's a big even number. It's like 100. And I'm like, 92 is still a lot too. Like, I checked. Like, that's a lot of freaking goals. Like,
that's a dickhead comment right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Especially since he holds the number 2 spot as well for most goals in a season. He's got 92 season and then an 87 season. Then it's a few guys, and then he's got a 73. Like, the guy, I wish I'd gotten 100, whatever.
I don't like that, though. Like, that kind of, like, he was motivated.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah. But
and now he's very great. Now he's, like, super gracious. Like, he kind of, I don't blame him. He probably does want Ovechkin to pass it. Like, it would kind of be cool. But then I think if Ovechkin passes it as a Russian hockey player, I think there's like going to be a lot of young Canadians that are like, I'm coming for that. I don't know how I'm going to do it in my lifetime, but I'm coming for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of like the younger generation Canadian national players, they don't have that old school Canada versus Russia rivalry in their blood anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens anymore. And I think like if you look at some of the prospects that have come up recently, they all have like Ovechkin stories. You know, they like, and so I don't know, it just seems like those lines have blurred now. And
do you think it's because Russia isn't what it used to be on the international stage?
No, I just think from a hockey culture perspective, we're like 2 or 3 generations removed from the Summit Series and all that shit that went on. You know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those kind of fierce competitive series don't. Russia hasn't been very competitive on the international scene.
I think they have. No, I think they have been. I think they're still strong, but like. It's more about that deep-seated hate that, especially on the Canadian side, that they had for Russian and Soviet hockey. It's 2 or 3 generations past. Like the current generation of players in the last like 10, 15, 20 years, like they have no concept of what that Summit Series was and like what all happened. You know, between those two countries from a hockey standpoint and how that was bleed over both directions in politics internationally. So I think like the kids now, they probably just look at the individual players and they're like, yeah, this guy's awesome. I love watching him. I want to be like him. You know,
that's a big part of it too, because it used to be that there weren't any Russian players in the NHL. You weren't seeing Russian players on your TV on Hockey Night in Canada. You were only seeing them in the Olympics, and they were beating your team or whatever. Or were always a tough team to play against. So there was this mystique. It's like we're going to the Olympics and we're going to play this Russian team against guys that we don't see, that they're really good. But now you got good Russian players on every team. Alexei Kovalev was a god in Montreal. Like the Canadians love their Russian players now. So I think that the kids, like you said, the kids are growing up watching Russians play and they're like, hey, these guys are good. I like this. And they're happy to see good players come out of wherever to be on their team. So I think that's a big part of it.
I guess especially the new, like the Olympic committee that's going to Beijing. Pavel Bure has a big hand in it. Alexander Zhamnov is the coach. Gonchar and Fedorov are going to be the assistant coaches on that team.
Yeah.
Like, kind of in a funny way. Like if you put that team on ice, like the coaching staff, like you match them up against like Sully and stuff, like the Russians will smoke them.
Easy.
Like John Cooper's coaching Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually think Team Canada has the weakest playing coaching staff, most likely. So, sorry. I mean, we're talking about the coaching staff going out there, but yeah.
So when they challenge each other before and after practice, like in Mighty Ducks 2,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they play post.
and they have the one-on-one battle between the coaches.
Yeah. I see Sully going for knees, regardless if he's up or not. He's just chopping knees. Sully's just sticking people in the knees.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that rivalry's there anymore because I think the countries have outgrown it, and they're beyond that from a hockey culture standpoint.
U.S. Canada, I think, is a big one. Finland, Sweden's
always big. Yeah,
that's always
it's always huge.
Like you said with the politics part of it too, like used to be that Russia was just flat out the enemy. And I mean, without getting too deep into politics, it's not really the same as it was.
Some would say they still are.
So, some would say yes, sure. Again, not getting too deep into politics, but
Stop it, guys.
Russia is not the enemy. They're all out to kill us now. Like that's how it used to be, and that probably added to the rivalry.
The first rule on here is no politics.
You don't talk it.
The Cold War's over. That's my point.
Yeah. We're so far away from that as societies and as hockey communities now that it's just players and teams now,
right?
You know.
I really appreciate the placement of your TV tonight, John.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
that's very convenient.
Yeah,
like that?
Where are you tonight?
Thank the hotel staff for us.
I'll thank them. I'm in a nondescript hotel location on the Eastern Seaboard. I'll just leave it at that. In a landlocked state. I'll leave it at that. Eastern Seaboard, landlocked state.
Wait,
making your way towards Johnstown?
Yeah, are you already there? What the?
I'm not.
Do you have the fridge open already?
I will neither confirm nor deny that I am in a state associated with Johnstown, Pennsylvania. But yeah, I'm in the area, not Johnstown area, but I'm in the area for work. So yeah, hotel for like the billionth night on a Monday night, whatever.
All week, man.
Yeah, all week. I know. I actually have like behind me it's on YouTube. It's the highlights of 1970 through 79, the hockey night in Canada stuff. So you guys know I'm a big sucker for 70s hockey, especially like 70s era Leafs when they had Lanny. Oh, Mike Pompeteer in goal. I was yelling at everybody before they told me to shut up.
We're trying to fix the sound, man.
I know. Well, kind of, weird segue here, talking about somebody that should shut up all of us about that Cole Caufield thing, because as today, Monday,
God, this is bullshit.
He got sent down to the minors to Laval.
What the hell?
Bullshit.
Disagree.
I blame Ducharme. I show it as I think Bergevin and Ducharme, I think it's like an act of aggression against USA Hockey. I don't know. Maybe he will. He probably does need to get going. A lot of stuff in Montreal has not looked decent to the point this year. I'll be honest.
He's still on his entry level deal, right? So
yes,
yeah, second year,
because playoffs don't burn it.
First year.
Playoffs don't burn it.
I don't know. I don't know what their other contract situations are and who can go down and come up without having to go through waivers and all that, because quite frankly, I don't care enough about the Canadiens to look that up. But that contract they can move, right? Yeah. And if they felt like they had
he's waiver exempt too. So
exactly, that's what I mean.
He's on the ELC.
So if they felt like they had to make a move to try and get things going, that's one that's very easy to do, right? But it's the wrong move. So
Wrong move. Yes.
You're wrong.
I did see like a bunch of, I did see like in like some funny tweets replying to that Zegras tweet that he tweeted in the summer, like to the NHL account. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that'll shock you to 40 goals.
Yeah.
Someone was like, well, he didn't say which league, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm like that's kind of cold. And then I did see like some people like kind of making the joke about Cole Caufield and his height. They're like, I don't understand how this player will grow in any way, shape, or form down at the AHL. I was like, come on, man. It's like as a staunch defender of like the guys that are short that play hockey, that's a direct attack.
Did you feel like, I was going to say, did you feel like that was a personal attack?
Yeah. That was a ricochet shot. Yeah. It was off the bow. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, they were definitely going after you by making fun of Cole Caufield.
Yeah. That one guy on Beers in the Lot. Fuck him.
Yeah. That little dude.
But like if that team needs to get going, like that's a guy that could help you get going. You just got to work through the slumps. The whole team is in a slump. They're not. No one is scoring goals. So keep them in the lineup. Let them work through it. Let the team work through it, and they'll be fine.
Marner just got his first goal of the season this weekend. So that shows you there's a lot of guys that are off their rocker already early in the season. I mean, it's just the way it works.
It's also, we just got to November. October hockey sucks. Early November hockey isn't that much better because those players don't get going until much later in the season. Usually not till after Thanksgiving. So,
and usually it's the whole Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, true.
They don't get going until later.
Yeah, they're all injured until like February, and then we get healthy right after the All-Star break.
Yep.
The last couple of years, that's what happens.
And if you look at just his individual numbers, he's getting shot attempts. He is getting scoring chances. They're just not going in. Eventually, they go in. So leave him in the lineup. He's a young player. Let him figure it out. If they think that they're a legit contender to go back to the final this year, they're joking themselves.
Carey Price would need to steal all games.
He's not even playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why they're like in the toilet right now.
Well, I do think I do think that team understands they were out over their skis last year. Like it was not a random like, oh yeah, we built this team to contend for a Stanley Cup. I think they built the team to get into the playoffs, and their strengths at the time of last year, which made sense, were defense and goaltending. And yes, they got you to the dance. And then Suzuki and Cole Caufield and some of the other guys were found money. But you got to remember, Deneau had one or two goals the entire time as your number one center, and he played shutdown role. So his job was actually to go head to head against the other team's top line and shut them down, which is not normally how it works. So their deployments were a little funky, and Carey Price played spectacular. Shea Weber was all banged up and still played. Petrie played, same thing, to the pinnacle of his talent. And he's a very good player still. But Jake Allen is not Carey Price, and he's playing very well, but they're constantly under siege. And when you don't have Shea Weber, Philip Deneau is no longer there. There's a lot. Yeah, Suzuki gets elevated. It changes matchups and lineups constantly.
And against the Lightning, you're always playing the defensive matchup. On the fourth line, you are a defensive center against their offensive center on the other side. Like, they just have too much depth. There was no way they were going to compete yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, Canadians are 29th in goal differential. They're tied for 27th in goals for. They're like third worst in goals against. Like, nobody's playing well on that team. So it seems like a really odd thing to send down the guy who's probably the favorite to score goals. And I don't know, it has to be something like he was the only one waiver exempt, and they weren't willing to put anybody else through waivers, and they just needed to make some sort of change. So he'll probably be back. I mean, it did come right at 10 games, so you have to think that maybe they're. I don't think that they can do anything. Like he's already, like, this is his rookie season. I don't think anything can change that. But CBA guy might be able to correct me on that. But I think that this is purely, like you said, Rick. This is a shake-up move, and they have to do something. So he's played 10 games, but does that mean that if he doesn't play anymore, because he's not eligible to slide anymore because he's 20, he's not 19, so he can't do that entry-level slide thing where if you don't play enough games, then your contract goes another
once
year,
the
right?
once the 10th game comes up in that first year, it's burnt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't even get to save that.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was eligible anyway.
So,
I don't think that you could do that past a certain age. I think he already did slide 1 year, but I don't know.
Well, it's an age thing and it's a game thing. So I don't know.
No,
what
it's an age thing.
But I know he played 10 games already this season, so it doesn't matter. It's null and void, regardless of if it's the age thing at that point.
So yeah, it's got to be a shake-up attempt, and he had to be the most convenient one to move down. That has to be it.
I'd be curious how that discussion went.
I know exactly how it went. No, I know exactly how it went. Yeah. Bergevin said, "I'm making this move," and he made it.
I'm saying, what do you think, like, in your head, how do you think Cole feels about that?
Now I've got to start saving my pennies because they only make $70,000 a year in the minors.
I don't know the kid, right? But I think that is a touchy sort of time in a player's career. So he comes in. I mean, his beginning of calendar year 2021 through the summer was amazing.
Exactly.
He wins World Junior Gold, wins a Hobie Baker,
goes to the Stanley Cup final.
He goes,
scores in the Stanley Cup final.
So then he goes pro after Wisconsin.
He scores in his first game with Laval.
He goes to Laval. He's tearing it up there. He gets called up. He's tearing it up with Montreal towards the end of the season. He goes into the playoffs, super hot still. Helps them get to the final.
Did he play a regular season game with them last?
He had a couple overtime winners back to back, didn't he?
Yeah, I already said he
came in
super. He went to Laval. He went to Montreal. He went in the playoffs. So then he goes in the summer with a lot of expectations, right? And he comes into this season. It's beginning of the season. He's not playing well. The team's not playing well. Well, let's take that back. He's actually playing pretty well. It's just not going in. And now you're telling him that you need to go down. How does he react to that, right? Like, I don't know, because I don't know him. I've never met this
we
dude.
Don't know him.
But how does he react to that? For me, if I was like a coach or a GM, I would want to help him, like that player, I would want to help him work through it where he's at. Again, I don't know the kid, but that message seems messed up to me. I don't know.
Well, it could even be a language thing. It could be that maybe he's not speaking French in the locker room, and that's not motivating the team enough or something. Who knows? I mean,
that's been a Montreal problem before.
That's a Montreal problem. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like Eric said, like if you're telling me a kid who's that immensely talented can't figure it out, like within a role, like, also, what is the coaching staff? And granted, I don't follow Montreal enough to like go like, all right, this is what they do, and breakouts and all that nonsense. Like, what is the coaching staff doing to jumpstart him? Like, that's something where like I know Sheldon Keefe does it, and we kind of poke fun at him recently because it's easy, but like he would put Nylander and Marner out on the penalty kill intentionally to get some puck touches up, but also because they're a threat shorthanded. Like it makes the other team straight up say, we got to watch what the hell we're doing with the point because these guys can do some stuff. And then Marner, just through typical work the other night, gets kind of a cookie because he went hard into the forecheck. Like that's part of coaching. Like I'm sure someone on the staff told him like, hey man, you need to get a little deeper in on the forecheck, help these guys out on your wingers. And look, he gets a goal, and now Marner will probably rip off a bunch of points in a row. I guarantee it. And you always hear, like, especially some snipers and goal scorers, like, you're up, by a goal, the goalie pulls, goalie gets pulled whenever you get on the ice and get an empty net, whatever. But, like, it's little stuff like that that get those guys going. Like, how is the Montreal staff not helping Cole get to that point?
How are they not helping their first round pick?
Yeah, they help Suzuki. They give him a fat ass contract. Like, help him.
With all that skill, proven skill at the NHL level.
Yep.
Find, what can he do to contribute to getting that team going? And look, it's not all on him either. Like Cole Caufield is not going to get Montreal out of whatever funk that they're in right now. I think they got roster issues. We already talked about the goaltending. They're a good team, but they're not a contender.
Yeah, we know that.
Just because they were in the final. Right.
Look at second year Connor McDavid. He couldn't even get the Oilers out of their funk. So I mean,
no.
Has he gotten them out of the funk yet?
No, I think they're still in the shit.
Well,
just curious.
Wait, I mean, what's their record this year? They're doing well.
They're like 8-2 or something. Like,
yeah, they're doing well.
They lost their first couple of games recently.
But how many years
they are
has it been in the
6-1.
But also, we all know, like Edmonton. We know they're going to get to the dance. They got to get through a few rounds. That's what they got to do. Like, we know they'll get to the dance.
They're looking okay so far this year. They played 7 games. They're 6-1.
Yeah,
they're third best goal differential in the West. They're doing all right so far.
It's early though. You got to remember that. It's very early, very very early.
They need to do something about goaltending.
Yeah, because Mike Smith's hurt. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks and months. I'd be very curious to see what the goaltending landscape looks like in next couple of weeks.
But Mark Bergevin, with your beautiful red suit jackets,
please
bring
Cole back
so we can watch him.
They come back.
Cole Caufield. Come on now.
Yep.
Well, no goal Caufield right now.
Yeah, well.
AHL Caufield.
All right, that'll do it for episode 64. Episode 65 is going to have plenty of Johnstown stories. We're going to do our best to even record a little bit while we're there, in theater, as Riggs likes to say. And we'll probably be posting some pictures in Discord even. Who knows? So jump on over to beersandlot.com/Discord. Jump in if you want to catch some of that potential content. So until next week, thank you for listening this week. If you're one of our regular listeners, you know we love you. Thank you so much for your support. If you're a new listener, we hope you come back for episode 65. And everybody, have a good one. Catch you next week.